Hey there, it's Gregson. Welcome back to Shifting Lanes. Today we'll be talking about the Toyota Highlander and what you need to know about this SUV before you research it, compare it to others in its class, or buy it. And even if you're not in the market for one, stick around and watch all the way to the end because there's some interesting information I found when researching for this video that you may have never known before. In this video, we'll be going over what to look for on the Highlanders, both new and old. Things like what's new for 2021 versus the 2020 model year, what to expect for 2022, some common issues with older models, any major service bulletins, any major recalls, and overall reliability ratings. And if you're here for this mid-sized SUV, consider watching our other content as well. We make tons of videos at Shifting Lanes on topics such as new car reviews, other what to know videos, consumer advice recommendations, and automotive news. If you'd like to see any of those, check the description below for playlists of everything we do, or click the card above for a hand-picked video for you. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up at the end if you enjoyed it or found it informative. First, let's get into all the details of the newer Highlanders. Released in early 2001, the Toyota Highlander was immediately a sales success, with continually increasing sales numbers from 2010 through 2018. Last year, in 2020, it was the second best-selling three-row SUV in the US market, following closely behind the Ford Explorer. In 2020, the Highlander sold 212,276 units, good for 14th overall in US sales. And this was even in a down year, with sales decreasing by 11%. We can chalk this up to a new model being unveiled and pandemic-related buying habits trending downwards. For 2021, the Highlander comes in 10 different trims, 6 with a gas engine only, and 4 hybrid variants. Costs range from a starting MSRP on the base L trim for $35,085 and balloon to $48,690 for the top-of-the-line Platinum Hybrid. This is, of course, all before options, add-ons, and fees are factored in, so you could easily get a Highlander north of $50,000. Buyers can choose between the standard V6 engine, which is rated at 21 city and 29 highway mpg, or go with a more fuel-conscious hybrid option, which is rated at 36 city and 35 highway, both of which are available with all-wheel drive. So, what is new for 2021 versus 2020? Well, Toyota brings a sportier punch with the XSE trim level that joins the Highlander lineup for 2021. With the XSE, you get a bit more of an aggressive look with slightly modified exterior styling, trim-specific 20-inch wheels, black exterior accents, and some sportier suspension tweaking. Apart from the XSE trim, the Highlander gains LED projection headlights as a standard feature on all versions. It also gets more driver assistant features, like semi-automated emergency steering technology that's designed to help a driver avoid collisions. Overall, the 2021 Highlander sees minor updates to the fully redesigned Highlander that was released in 2020. So will we see a lot of the same in 2022? In short, yes, but there should be some better stuff in store for the third model year. Pricing should largely be the same. Car companies love to inflate the cost of cars year after year, so look for about the same but slightly higher prices, especially now since the microchip shortage is driving up costs between both new cars and used cars. The 2022 Highlander should be a lot of the same story compared to the 2020 and 2021 models. High sales figures will happen once again because of Toyota's stellar overall reliability reputation, the Highlander's good in-segment fuel economy, and practicality. The only real downside that most reviews have noted is that the third row is not really for adults and best suited for small kids. The biggest tweaks we're likely to see in 2022 are some new paint colors, wheel options, some accessories, or maybe even a new trim package. But that's pretty much it. Overall, the 2021 and 2022 future offerings are well-rounded and should make the hundreds of thousands of drivers that buy them every year extremely happy for many years to come. If you've made the decision to purchase any model year of Highlander, the rest of this information should help you make an informed decision about the SUV itself. The following information is more related to older versions, but after this, you should be armed with a bit more knowledge on potential trouble areas, which may help in many different purchase-related scenarios, even for newer models. First, let's talk about some common issues. CarComplaints.com has the top 3 trouble areas on the Highlander Highlander as threads for engine bolts strip on the 2003 Highlander with an average cost to fix of $3,200 at an average mileage of 123,000 miles. Next is engine failure completely on the 2002 Highlander with an average cost to fix of $4,600 at an average mileage of 120,000 miles. And finally, excessive oil usage in the 2002 Highlander with an average cost to fix of $4,400 at an average mileage of 81,000 miles. These three issues do sound serious, but keep two things in mind when you look at them. First off, these are issues with older Highlander models, and they happened with model years close to when the Highlander launched in North America, which was 2001. Second, most of these issues are happening at high mileage, so even these first generation Highlanders are pretty reliable. In fact, this is the first vehicle I've researched where Car Complaints has not given any year of a model an avoid recommendation, which is hugely impressive and speaks to the Highlander's overall quality. Now, let's talk about the technical service bulletins, or TSBs, for the Highlander. If you didn't know, a TSB is a communication from the manufacturer, like Toyota, that document recommended procedures for repairing vehicles, and they happen when there are several occurrences of an unanticipated problem. For example, if consumers are reporting that their doors won't lock because a wire in the door is known to disconnect and it's happening across many different shops or dealers, the manufacturer will look into it, and if there's a fix, issue a TSB so that if it happens again, the fix is easily understood and rectified. The manufacturer may also find fixes proactively and issue a TSB if the fix does not require a recall. For the Highlander, you may be surprised to learn that there are hundreds of TSBs listed for many different model years. However, it's important to remember that this isn't necessarily a standard for reliability. Almost all cars have tons of TSBs for each year they are produced, so take this into consideration when doing your research. I won't go into all of the TSBs they list, but if you're more DIY inclined, it's worth poking around in the TSBs should you find something wrong with your vehicle and want to fix it yourself. You may find a TSB with the fix you need and could save yourself hundreds in repair costs with the right know-how. You can find TSBs listed on sites like Car Complaints, as TSBs need to be public knowledge by law. On that note, let's talk about any active recalls that the Highlander has outstanding. You can find these as well as other complaints, manufacturer communications, and investigation information at the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, or NHTSA for short. I won't go into all of the recalls as they warrant their own video, but here are a few interesting ones to watch out for and the model years they relate to. For the 2006 Highlander, seat heater electrical wiring. If damaged, the copper strand heating element may short circuit, increasing the risk of a fire. Yes, you read and heard that right. This may catch your ass on fire. Best see that this recall has been done before you purchase a 2006 Highlander. For the 2008 Highlander, driver's airbag may not deploy. If the FFC is damaged, connectivity to the driver's airbag module could be lost and the airbag deactivated. The failure of the driver's airbag to deploy in the event of a crash that typically necessitates deployment increases the risk of injury to the driver. This is an extremely important recall to have done before you even consider a 2008, so make sure it has been done and get it in writing. And for the 2020 Highlander, ECU error may cause vehicle stall. Improper fuel supply programming can result in a vehicle stall, increasing the risk of a crash. Currently, the 2020 and 2021 model years have 2 and 0 recalls on them respectively, but we can chalk that up to these years of the Highlander being newer than all of the others. More recalls may trickle in over time. This leads me to my final point on the Highlander, which is overall reliability. And as you can see by the information I've put forward, it's an extremely solid SUV with almost every model year having very minor issues. This is probably the first vehicle I've made a what to know video on where there's really been nothing wrong with the vehicle in question, and I haven't had to tell you to avoid certain model years. That doesn't really exist in the Highlander. Consumer Reports ranks the 2021 Highlander as a top 3 choice in the 3-row SUV realm, giving it a solid 84 out of 100. And this is arguably where the biggest controversy with the Highlander as a whole comes in. It's third to the Kia Telluride, which is in first place in CR's rankings, and the Hyundai Palisade, which it ties with an 84 overall. The Palisade and Telluride are sister SUVs that largely have the same underpinnings but have different designs both in and out. However, many will note that Kia and Hyundai haven't had the same stellar reputation that Toyota has had over the years for reliability. That gap had actually closed up drastically, with both Kia and Hyundai making the biggest reliability strides of any car maker in the last 20 years. That being said, if you look at the numbers, all 3 of these are very similar on paper, with very close 0 to 60 times, braking distances, clearances, MPG, and road test scores. Honestly, all of them are good buys right now, but I'd maybe give the Highlander the edge here based on it being a well-known nameplate with more than 20 years to its name. The Telluride and Palisade seem like great vehicles, but they are brand new within the last 2 to 3 years, so only time will tell if they can be issue-free on the long haul. If shopping in this class though, at this price point, all 3 should be on your list to test drive. It's also worth noting that Consumer Reports gives the Highlander a recommended rating, but that's not really surprising given what you've already seen in this video and in other reviews if you've read them. With all of this being said, do we recommend you go in to buy the Highlander if you've made the decision to purchase? That answer is an unequivocal yes. There really isn't a bad Highlander year out there. Sure, there are bound to be some they made that aren't as good, and like any car, a few will have issues pop up here and there. However, if you can snag a newer one, you're likely going to have a rock-solid SUV in your driveway for at least a decade, maybe 2 if you take care of it properly. If you want to buy used, try to get one within the last 10 years so that you're not getting an incredibly high mileage example. If possible, snag a newer one with some factory warranty left on it, and if any of the issues I mentioned do crop up, or even new ones, you'll be covered. So go ahead and shop with confidence. I hope that this video does help you in making your buying decision a bit easier, or has made you a better informed owner. If you want to follow us outside of YouTube, you can find us at Shifting Lanes on Facebook and Instagram, where we post about the cars we review, our personal cars, and industry news and adventures. And you can follow me at RealGregsonM on Instagram and Facebook as well. Again, my name is Gregson. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time.